Seattle at San Francisco. Are the Seahawks imploding?
Unfortunately, for some of our narratives, the Seahawks, I'd say, are definitely imploding. But also, kind of like I was saying at the beginning of the year, like I was a narrative shifter. I know it's like my honest truth when the record prediction came out was that had the Seahawks kind of like sitting right around here. Seahawks fans got really mad at me, if you remember.
Yeah.
And then I started seeing how the beginning of the year looked. I changed my tune a little bit. But then this brought me back to reality of like the fact of what the Seahawks are. Like they're a team that can show up and have a great day, and they have good young pieces.
Yeah.
But also the good young pieces don't show up every game. And when Geno's not playing, especially, the team really doesn't have any continuity. Geno still has had a lot of poor games this year. Geno's inconsistent. That's this team. Inconsistent. And so it's like you can't really be a good team when you're inconsistent.
No.
You can have good days. And that's exactly what the Seahawks are right now.
I mean, but DK throwing in our tantrum.
DK is... Look, DK needs to stop that bullshit. I will defend him just this one time, though, because, hear me out. When Fred Warner did that whole get mad at him, all that, I think it was a little bit Bush League because I was thinking about and everyone was saying, from DK's perspective, he's just trying to tackle and think he still has the ball. Like, DK didn't think, like, this motherfucker pitched the ball. Like, in DK's point of view and perspective, he's just, like, trying to tackle him. So I get it from his perspective where DK's like, all right, bet, like, it's up now. But normally, yeah, DK... It's that you got to stop. But what makes it even more frustrating if you're a Seahawks fan and the coaching staff is he's already told you to fuck off. He's literally said in a press conference he'll never change. That's how he is. He didn't say fuck off, but he basically did.
I don't know if that works.
He said it non-directly, but
I don't know if that works outside of a Pete Carroll team.
That's what's interesting.
Yeah.
And even how much longer does it work on a Pete Carroll team? I mean, it's definitely getting to a point
where...
Not
if wins don't keep coming.
Because if they don't make the playoffs...
If they don't make the playoffs, they basically ran it back and just added through free agency and draft, and you can make the argument whether they improved or not, but if they don't make the playoffs this year in a weak NFC, that's a real problem.
No, absolutely. And you could even make the point where DK is becoming a distraction, but we won't even get into all that.
A team that is making the playoffs for sure is the 49ers. Brock Purdy, potentially MVP this year.
It's looking more and more like it every week. And I think, too, I'm going to use a little snippet of something from the broadcast actually this week. I don't remember who it was talking about it. I'm going to give credit where it's due. I think it was Troy Aikman. Troy and Joe, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, Troy
Troy was saying, if I get it, could be, I think it was Troy though. And he was like, look, man, we didn't hold having a great core of talent around them against Peyton Manning, Kurt Warner, like all these other guys. It's like, so what? Now that Brock has a great cast and he's doing this, we're going to tell everyone that it's not him. He's like, well, that's bullshit. And I understand that putting it like that, I have to understand and respect it. That is very true. That we cannot hold it against Brock that he has been put and surrounded by great talent. And with that talent, he is putting up MVP numbers. I will still say, as of right now, my personal MVP is Dak because of the change in how we saw how we go from the Kellen Moore offense to the new offense. It's so much better than the new offense. I think it has a lot to do with Dak and how he's playing in that pocket. Not that it doesn't with Brock. I just think maybe Dak, I feel like maybe deserves a little bit more of the praise.
Okay.
But at this point, Brock's right there with him, no doubt.
I mean, but I guess my argument would be, like, I understand, but it's like, CMC, Devo, and Ayuk also create a lot on their own once they get the ball.
This was very interesting stat I want to talk about, though. Very interesting, because this blew my mind. And again, I don't remember the exact year, but it was the year Mahomes won MVP.
Okay.
So my numbers are I'm skewing the numbers of the year in my head. Patrick Mahomes' receivers actually had more rack than Brock Purdy's receivers this year.
Oh, wow.
That year.
Which
was very interesting. And the comparison point was Mahomes was right around like 52, and right now Brock's around like 47.9, 48. So it's not like it's far away. But if anything, I think the main narrative that really highlights this is a fact. When a QB has a great year a lot of the time, nobody ever thinks about how much of it comes off of yak.
Yeah.
But it has to do with getting the ball to receivers in a position where they can move afterwards, which is an underrated thing. Getting it in a position where they can still run with it afterwards. At that point, too, we got to start considering maybe that's a skill of the quarterback is how good are you? And it is a thing, like how good are you at fitting it in a position where they can still do something with it afterwards?